Welcome to the 9-part tutorial series on how to use Planet of Mystery Productions program packs to create programs that you can use in your planetarium. All the software used for production in these tutorials is open source and available for download. Click on the Software tab on the main page of the documentation that was included on the program pack media for links on getting the software. The tutorials start with the assumption that you have never used this software before. Even if you're familiar with this software, it's probably a good idea to watch all the tutorials, then do the exercises included while following along. You should also watch them in numerical order because each lesson will build on the previous lesson. The lessons are the Blender user interface and initial setup, importing frame sequences into Blender's video sequence editor, creating a jump cut, creating a crossfade, compositing and alpha channels, fading in and fading out, simple titles and graphics, output and rendering, encoding your dome masters. The main piece of software that we'll use is Blender. Blender's primary function is to produce 3D graphics and animation, but it also includes an incredible nonlinear video editor. We'll use that for editing, compositing, and rendering the final frames for your program. Start Blender and wait for the splash screen to appear. Click outside the splash screen to close it. The main window is a 3D view. If you are creating a model, this is the screen you'd work with. Along the left side is the toolbar, which we'll use for the segment on titles and graphics. At the bottom, there is the timeline. We will use this extensively. At the right, there's the Render tab. This is where we will first set up our scene to the correct resolution, frame rate, file output type, and the directory where we'll store our files. The first thing we need to do in the Render tab is set the output resolution for our files. You should be able to find the resolution of your system by checking the manuals that came with it. There is an appendix in the documentation that shows the output resolutions for several popular planetarium projection systems. For the sake of this tutorial, we'll go with 1536 by 1536. Click on the X size factor and type in your value. Do the same for the Y size factor. Below these, make sure the output is scaled to 100%. Select 30 FPS in the frame rate box, which is the standard used in the industry. It's also the rate for all the sequences found in the program packs. There are other settings we'll adjust in the Render tab, but we'll get back to them when we need them. Now we need to change the view in the Main tab from the 3D view to the Video Sequence Editor. To do this, look for a little icon with a picture of a cube in the bottom left of the 3D View tab. If you hold your mouse pointer over it, it will indicate what the current view of that window is. If you click on it, you'll see a list of other window types. Select the Video Sequence Editor. Please note that there is also a window called the Movie Clip Editor. That is for something entirely different and won't work at all for the purpose of assembling programs. When you first bring up the Video Sequence Editor, it doesn't look like much. That's because the view mode for the window is set to Sequencer View. Look for 3 icons at the bottom of the tab. One will be highlighted in blue. Next to it, you'll find an icon that looks like a checkerboard. This is the preview window. To the right of that, you'll see an icon that looks like the other two combined. This is the hybrid view and the view we'll use. When you click on it, you'll see the series of tracks with a black rectangle above it. That black rectangle is the preview window, and it's where our video will show. At this point, we're just about ready to import our first sequence. So take a short break, then we'll explore importing frame sequences, the timeline, and moving around the Video Sequence Editor window.